Internet! We are in the dark gray room today. I changed the lights. It's the... oh, excuse me. I changed the lights because it's the beginning of a Friday. Everybody, it's Friday. My hair's sopping wet because it's raining super hard outside, but that's not bad. Not too shabby, everybody. Glad to be here. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let's give a shout out to a couple of people in the chat. Pete Berlinski, Swift Aquarium, JW Aquarium, Will's Aquarium, Bentley Pascal, Robin Guppy Art. Let's just say hi to Pete Berlinski again. Why not? It's Nature Man is here. Lol is here. New Mexico Aquatics, Big D is here. Mellow Moogle is here. Rocky's Rocky, Joel Gillett from New Swaziland. Who else we got? Well, I don't know. RNH2O is here. Preston John is here. Chris Thomas, Kiwi Mamo, Licks Nibbles. Okay. Now, no more shout-outs for right now. Because I have to do all this reading. And it gets weird, man, when I start reading people's names. And you got names like Mr. Eddie 447. Oh, shout out. Hey, man. I makes the rules. I breaks the rules. I gets to do what I want. But glad to be here. It is a happy Friday for everybody. Let's get started off with some of the business. What's going on? Somebody said, what's up from Everett? Oh, it's trying to snow up there in Everett? Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry, people in Western Washington. There will be no snowpocalypse. Don't worry. I was watching the old weather report there. Don't worry. It's just cold. It's just that ice cold rain. So we don't have to worry too much. We don't have to worry too much about the old snow this time around. It's just going to be cold out and snow mixed. But either way, we have a thing right out. We have a question right out the gate here. It's Nature Man was asking Swift Aquariums about the Felix controller, and yes, he's pretty accurate with the Sinai. What happened here? Did we lose? Whoa. Did we lose signal? No. Am I just buffering over here? What's going on? Huh. I guess I should just keep acting like we're still broadcasting. Are we still broadcasting, or did we lose it? I don't know. I lost my signal back here. So maybe I'm buffering. But either way, I'll just continue on like everything is fine. But Swift Aquarium is pretty much right on track there. Says the Felix looks like it has something that tries to use that Sinai stuff. Yes, it or Sinai. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it, but it is an aquarium controller. And actually, I met the guys that were setting up the Phoenix thing, and I gave them my business card and stuff like that, and was like, yeah, I'd be interested to test one out. And they never, that was it. That was all that ever happened. So I've never tested one out. I can't recommend one to anybody because I've never tested it out. And I don't know if it works. I don't know if it doesn't work or it does work or any of that stuff. So I have no idea. I have no idea if the Felix works or not. I've never tested one out. And, so that's the best explanation for that I could give you is that, I don't know. I met them. They seemed like nice guys and everything, and then never heard back from them. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the deal. We only have 40 people watching today. That's pretty low. I guess it's Friday. Everybody's like taking a nap or something. I don't know. But let's see here. Well, it is Friday, so maybe everybody's just out taking a nap. Everyone says it's still going. It is buffering intermittently. Yeah, I don't know. I'm broadcasting correctly. Yeah, maybe it has something to do with YouTube. I know that YouTube's got like some weird stuff going on of late. They're trying to crack down on some stuff. Not 100%. Okay, cool. Well, everyone says they refreshed and it respawned. Okay, cool. But either way, let's see. We'll keep rolling on with Friday. I see RNH2O out there. How you doing? I see 54 Punchy, Jamie McDonald. I see a bunch of green names going by, which is good. And shout out to all the green name members. Thanks for becoming a member. And Rumbust with the Swedish Crones, 1746. Thank you very much for the super chat, my brother. But we do have a new member here that became a member when we were not live. Meek Irving. So anybody that's wondering if you do, if you're like, yeah, I don't want to become a member unless it's live because you want to get the shout out, don't worry. I'll shout you out and I'll let everybody know that you're new to the posse. Mellow Moogle says notifications have been messed up this week. Yeah, notifications have been really messed up. They've been, YouTube's been doing a crackdown on something that has been going on. I think there's like, I don't know. There's a lot of theories, but they've been cracking down on something that they think there's been illegal doings in the chat, or not in the chat, but in the comment section on some weird videos. So I got demonetized earlier this week. And it does happen from time to time. People wonder, and I did realize when I was talking to Alyssa the other day, she was like, I thought people were saying demonized, she was just hearing it wrong, that they were trying to say demonized, but no, it's demonetized. So the monetization is essentially like the commercials that you guys all end up having to watch. We're supposed to get, creators are supposed to get a kickback. Weez is supposed to get a kickback of that. And if you get demonetized because your content is too racy or whatever, I don't know. They don't even really they don't even give you guidelines, really. I mean, they're pretty broad strokes. But they what they'll do is they'll demonetize you. So they still play commercials and stuff, but the people that produce the content get no kickback. I guess it's just the motivation that they're like, don't be so outrageous, weirdo. And then, then once you're not so outrageous, then apparently they give your advertising kickback back. I don't know. Oh, new member coming in hot and fresh during the stream. It's Nature Man. Becoming a member. Of which I think, if I'm understanding this correctly, it is like it's apparently super difficult for anybody on an iPhone to find the join button. So here it is in the chat. If you click on that link I just posted in there, that will take you to the join thing there. Because the join thing is typically a blue join button, but it just depends on like what phone you're on is like how to find it. So it's pretty easy on the desktop to find it, but apparently it's super hard on it's super difficult on iPhones for some reason. I don't know why. Big D Smoke was saying that I was told I don't get ads because I have Google Play Music. Yeah, that's a perfect example. If you subscribe to, so I have YouTube Premium, so you don't have to, so I don't have to watch any commercials at all. If that's a thing that you want to do, you could do that too, I guess. I don't know. But I got ad blockers on everything because even this page right over here that is open in the background that's just monitoring YouTube, it is, since I opened it probably 20 minutes ago, it's blocked 180 pop-up ads. Oh, plus 5 over here and 5 over here too. Which is pretty bonkers, you know. I have no clue how people navigate the internet when you have all those ads popping up and stuff. Oh my gosh, we have another new member today, Terry's Tropical Tanks. Woohoo! Well, thank you very much. I know people were wondering like what the join button is, what it's all about. It's just another way to help support if you guys want to support any of the creators out there. I think I'm joined to a couple of people, but they're mostly like tech review channels. I do spend a lot of time listening to tech review channels and camera reviewers and stuff like that. I think some of them that you guys would probably recognize would be like Peter McKinnon, and his friend like Maddie, whose last name I have no idea how to say, Hopchkoka or something. I don't know how you say his last name. But that's mostly like Linus Tech Tips is really big. Like I think a lot of people would know that. But I spend a lot of time researching the cameras and stuff like that because, and part of what I mentioned in the early chat, if you guys were here early, I mentioned that we do have a new addition to the film equipment here, and I just want to tell you guys, as easy as it is to use Amazon, this is one of those times where things just went completely sideways, and it is. I have no idea what the resolution is going to work out to be, but. I guess I'll tell you guys what it is. So I bought a new slider, and I can actually show you what a slider does. So let me change. Oops. What did I do? I hit the wrong button. There we go. I can actually show you guys what a slider does. When you're watching something and the camera is statically placed, but it's moving, like this video right here. That's what a slider does. It essentially slides the camera around, basically. I think it's overused by a lot of people, but it's definitely underutilized by a lot of people also. And this is a very useful tool to do a lot of things like interviews. You can get really cool pan shots like this. Like it's just virtually impossible to do this shot just holding the camera. Like it does not matter how magical your camera stabilization is or any of that kind of stuff. Like to get this shot would be virtually, impossible by hand, and have it be smooth and clear and look nice. Sliders are incredibly expensive from the good companies out there. I've never been able to afford one. I have a manual one that was like $100, and it was like $100 for the manual one that I have, and I very rarely ever utilize it because you really, when you're using your hands, it just doesn't work that well. It doesn't come out. It doesn't look good. And it's just kind of a mess. But I did find one recently that was about $450 instead of the typical $1,800 is right around the price point of a typical slider, is right in that range. $1,500 to $2,000 is about how much they cost. American, if anybody's wondering what I'm talking about. Oh, before I forget here, welcome the Fish Girl from Connecticut to the member squad. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I'm gonna post that link back in there. Anyhow, so sliders, motorized sliders, or even just a nice hand use slider. They typically cost quite a bit. They cost quite a bit of money, realistically. You know, when it's like $1,800, $2,000, you know, that's getting close to just getting a new camera, which people that have been watching the show for a long time know that I'm working as hard as I can to kind of like scrap every dollar together to get enough money together for a new camera. And I almost pulled the trigger today. I was considering like just driving to Best Buy and buying one. But I kind of thought, you know what? I think I'm just going to wait. I think I'm going to wait because I have some ideas of whether or not I want to try and get a cinema line camera. It is something that I do a lot, and it's something I definitely want to do more of. And I shoot a lot of DSLR video. That's how I shoot video. It's Nature Man is asking, so is the Canon M50 a good entry-level camera? He wants to shoot some video, what to do. Yes, I would 100% recommend the Canon M50 as an entry-level camera, especially because of the cost, how much it costs, how well it operates, and what you can do with it. I actually have one myself. It's a great camera that I can use and put it in a spot where I'm not, like I don't want it to get broken or anything like that, but I can definitely put it in a spot where I'm much less concerned about it than my regular camera. The camera that I normally use is a 6D Mark II, and just the lens on that thing is like $1,300. And let me copy the link here for you guys so you guys can understand what camera I'm talking about. So here's the camera that I'm talking about right now, the M50, this is the perfect starter camera for anybody out there that is oh, and that's a terrible link because that one isn't shipping. Oh, hold on. It's the one right above it. That's the one that we want. Right? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, copy, and then let me paste this over here. There we go. There's a better link, one that will actually ship. So $650. That comes with the lens. Wait, does this one actually come with the lens? Oh no, this one comes with a bunch of jargon. Oh, sorry guys. This is taking a second. For some reason, this one's out of stock. Why does it say it ships in 1 to 2 months? That's super weird. Let's see here. Let's click through a little Amazonian madness, which this actually brings me back to what I've been dealing with today. So I ordered this slider, basically, and they were trying to deliver it. Okay, here's the actual link we want. Hold on. Copy. Let me put this in here. Paste. Boom. There we go. Okay. This one will actually ship and will ship to you wherever in 2 days. Okay, there we go. But that actually is the camera, the lens, the battery, and all that stuff. So, okay, and I'll get back to the camera here in just a second. But so the slider that I got, it shipped here. It got lost in the mail. Then when I got updates from the mail people, they said, yeah, it'll be there. They're like, yeah, we figured it. We found it. We'll send it out, and it'll be there Monday. So it didn't show up on Monday. It didn't show up on Tuesday, so I called. I put in the ticket with Amazon, and I was like, look, this thing, where is it? It was supposed to be here. It's not here. They said, okay, it seems to be lost again. And so then they were like, okay, we're going to issue you a refund. So they issued me a refund. So I ordered a new one, right? Another one, a replacement one. Then the one that they found, or the one that was lost, got delivered yesterday. So on Thursday. So it was actually supposed to be here the Thursday previous, I think, or maybe like the Tuesday previous or something like that. Then it got lost, then it got found, then it got lost again, then it suddenly showed up after being lost again. And now the replacement one is supposed to arrive here today. Now that one is also lost. So I have no idea like what's really the deal. But they've issued like a shipping refund and something else, and it's just super confusing. And I actually had to talk to the people at Amazon today, like on the phone, and be like, what do I do here? And they were like, you know what? Don't do anything. Just wait until we can figure out like what's going on. And then the guy was like, well, we could just charge you for the other one too. And I was like, I don't want to be charged for two of these. Like, it was already like $450. Don't suddenly now charge me $900 for two of them. I didn't want two of them. So it's just kind of a little bit ridiculous. But as far as the camera goes, if you guys want to start shooting, I definitely would recommend the M50. That definitely is one that that is definitely the camera that I would go for anybody out there that's starting out and you want to shoot your fish tanks and stuff like that. And not to mention that comes with the lens, the battery, all that stuff. Basically everything except for an SD card for like $600 or $700. That there's just nobody else is even coming close to a better starter kit, in my opinion. I might be wrong. There might be one out there. And it's also, T. Riddle says he thinks the M50 is a good camera, does great in 1080p, just okay in 4K. I will remind anybody out there that there really is no reason to be shooting in 4K at the point that we're at right now. Like, first of all, YouTube's compression is pretty crazy. So even if you do shoot in 4K and upload onto YouTube, a lot of people have come up with the idea that if you upload to YouTube in 4K, that you're going to have a lot better, you're going to be served, your video is going to be served up before anybody else's. But the compression on YouTube is like pretty terrible. So honestly, I think anybody that's like really watching in 4K, it's really going to look about like good 1080p. Now, obviously, that's opinion, and a lot of people have kind of been arguing about that recently, but I would say this. If you shoot 4K and it's terrible quality, it's not going to do well. Just because you shot it in 4K doesn't make it necessarily it's going to be good or bad, right? I mean, if your exposure is completely off, it's not going to be a good thing that anybody's going to watch. And one of the biggest problems is working in 4K is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly time consuming. It takes up a ton of storage. It does become incredibly expensive. Just hard drives and stuff like that is it's totally crazy. The Fish Tank Barn says 8K or bust. Joel Gillis says 5K or nothing. I would just say, like, anybody out there that wants to shoot video, just focus on good quality 1080p. Just really good quality HD video is plenty. Like, that's what's playing right there. That's just 1080 in static manual focus. So nothing's autofocusing, anything like that. Nothing on the camera is changing. It's just moving its position. That's the only thing that's happening in that video right there. I didn't even... all I did was add a little bit of contrast, and I dropped the brightness by 1/20%. That's all I did. I didn't color grade. I didn't change anything. That's all I did to that video, and that's 1080p, which, since we're broadcasting right now, it probably doesn't look as good as it does over on my end, but yeah, I don't think anything, it's not, there's really no difference between the same video that's in 1080p and 4K. Unless you're watching on a giant screen, then that stuff will start to play in. But I would love to shoot in 4K or 8K or something like that. I would love to do that, but I would definitely have to sign a deal with somebody because I do not have the funds to even edit all of that. I just don't. So if I ever do sign a deal with somebody that would make that workflow possible, I would love to do it, but I just don't have it. And right now, I'm currently looking at it's about a 4-year-old camera. Maybe 3.5, 4-year-old camera right now. I'm currently looking at and I'm going to type it in here. Just so anybody is wondering what I'm talking about. I'm currently looking at the Canon C100 Mark II, which is an interesting camera as it's older, but it is a cinema line camera. I am actually able to record for hours and hours on it. It only does video. It only does video stuff. I'm definitely considering that. I'm considering that option. Jackson Colboyark says, I have an option for 1440p. What gives? I'm actually uploading right now. I'm streaming in 2K right now is what I'm streaming in, which is basically it's a larger aspect ratio for anybody who has the longer monitors, basically. Just basically put, in case anybody has that like wide monitor, you guys will be able to see that, and you'll be able to like turn your cell phone sideways and still watch the show and have it not look all weird and squished. But yeah, I'm broadcasting in 2K right now, which is basically like 1080p UHD, whatever, but just with just a higher frame rate too. 60 frames a second is what I'm doing. But I'm definitely looking at that camera, and one of the big things for that is that doesn't even shoot 4K at all. And one of the big reasons is, so I'm probably going to, what I'm considering doing is buying that camera because I can find it on the used market for about $2,800, which is not nothing. It's not zero, but I think I could probably pay that off. I'm not sure, but I haven't really made up my mind if I'm going to do that or not. The main reason is like, I don't want to get stuck with a tool that I don't use very much. I feel like I would use that a lot though. I feel like I would use it quite often. So that's my reasoning from trying to make the decision of whether I want to go with that camera or buy the new EOS R, which is the newest full-frame mirrorless camera from Canon. I think it's going to be right around in the same price range, but I'm coin flipping over and over again about, dealing with the debt on that, of what I want to do moving forward, because I definitely do want to keep moving forward. I know that over the years I've definitely had some, reticence about what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And I definitely have some stability right now with, some of my work stuff is figured out. Like some of the things that I'm doing for work is figured out. And as far as those things go, more people have become members and things like that. Like that stuff definitely adds up. Like the more members and the more Patreon people and stuff and everything, it's like doing the calculations. I have a tax person that's helping me now with my budget, just to help keep everything like precise and laser straight as far as budget and pricing and all that kind of stuff goes. Or budget and like the prices of things and like what my tax liability is and everything like that. It really is, that's becoming very helpful, but it's also like reminding me that like, yes, I do want to keep moving forward. And I'm not sure if, the DSLR type, cameras are going to be what I want to do moving forward. I don't know if that's going to work with my workflow. So a real big toss up right now of whether I want to buy an older camera, But that camera, you know, like I said, costs about $2,800, something like that, used. The C200, right? Somebody's gonna look this up, I'm sure. The C200 would be the camera that has 4K in it, that has all that stuff. It's the step up from the one that I was just talking about. That would be the one to go to, but that camera costs about $7,000 without lenses, without any lenses or anything like that. So that's a stressful number. You know what I mean? Like I'd be straight with you guys when I say that, like, even 2,800 is a stressful number. But we definitely definitely get to that like $7,000-8,000 number. It's like, whew. That's a big like, I don't know, man. Whew. So that's kind of why I'm at that spot that I'm at right now. It's trying to figure out between A, B, and C, or A and B, basically, whether I want to go with the EOS R or the C100 Mark II. But Big D Smoke says, "Ouch, $7,000." That $7,000 is cheap. Realistically, that C200, basically, like, if you look up like RE Alexas, if you look up a lot of the cinema cameras out there that you guys like watch TV shows and stuff on, they're $70,000, $100,000, like red cameras. Whew. Man, those are crazy expensive. So I don't know. Candy just wants to come hold Olivia so she doesn't cry and borrow all of the plants. Yeah, I mean, Olivia is with the sitter. As you guys know, I pay a sitter so we can do the show and stuff. Terry's Tropicals tanks for $7,000. It better have wheels to hold tools and pull a boat. It basically, as far as like the camera world goes, that's basically what it does. The Fish Tank Barn with a $5 super chat for the camera fund. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, my buddy. But I don't have a need to pull a boat because I don't have a boat. As you know, they say it's the acronym for boat is bust out another 1,000 every time you got to fix a boat. I hope I get to use a boat soon, but I don't ever want to fix one again. Growing up, my dad would make me fix his boat. The Fish Tank Barn, yeah, I just looked it up. They had a Canon XA11 camcorder for $1,200. The XA11 is a pretty decent camera, but you can't change the lenses on it. It does have XLR inputs for microphones, so that's actually pretty good. The XA11 camcorder would be pretty good for like the live stream camera. Like if I ever wanted to upgrade this camera, that would be a great option for that. And one of the big reasons that we'd be able to, run the mic jacks and all that kind of stuff right into it instead of running a different thing. 7,000. If it didn't clean our house, my wife would kick me out. I don't know. My wife might kick me out anyhow, but we do have a new baby, so maybe not. I don't know. But that doesn't matter because I don't even have $7,000, so it doesn't matter. It's hardly even an option at this point. But let's get out of camera talk and let's get back into fish talk. Sorry, it's definitely been on my mind, so it's definitely something I add to the show because it's been on my mind. But let's get over to the chat, or the questions that we're going to be answering today. I have to line up all of these scenes so that we don't lose my chat and all that. Let me see, did I get it right? Watch this. I wonder if I can manually just move myself. There we go. I can move myself with the computer. I don't have to move my body, you guys. That's just silly. All right, here we go. Busting into the old Patreon questions. If you guys aren't familiar with the Patreon, go check it out. It's www.patreon.com/Joel_C. That is me on Patreon. Patreon is just another way if you want to be like a monthly supporter. It's something you can do. On Fridays, we answer the questions from the community tab. You guys will notice that we're sitting right here in the community tab from the community posts, and we like to address them, talk about them. You guys can post pictures, all sorts of stuff up on there. We have had a few GIFs and things like that, which was really cool. And, that's what the Patreon is all about. It's all about having a little bit of a community, hopefully supporting a bit of this project. I hope this project keeps going and going and going and getting better and better. And, we talked about a little bit today. We got some, camera decisions and stuff like that, for the production moving forward. And, we'll definitely just keep rolling. We're just going to keep rolling along, but that's the whole reason that we can even have these conversations is because of the people on Patreon and everybody that's graciously contributed to keep this project going. Grassy Peak wrote in on the 15th. Is there a show tonight? I don't think I can cook dinner without it. Maybe I'm just early. Well, considering this was 2:50 p.m., yes, you were early because we kick off at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which I believe is -9 GMT now, I think, because of daylight savings time, because our clocks change. Smart. It's either -8 or -9, one or the other. Chris Rohn wrote in, Shrimps and Snails, my first shrimp colony, basically just showing it off, the shrimps and snails. Mad props. This looks pretty good. We got some nice looking cherry shrimp going in here. Little Java moss, couple plants and stuff like that. That's a cool tank, and I would almost 100% assume that if you're anything like me, you probably spend a good amount of time meditatively staring into the shrimp and snail tank, because I certainly do here. I caught myself the other day just like doing this, just staring, watching a snail, doing a little snail thing on the glass, which I thought was kind of funny. I was wondering how long it had been, because it's not like they move around super fast. You know what I mean? It's not like they're cruising for a bruising or something. And I was just like, oh, maybe it was 2 minutes, maybe it was 30 seconds. I don't know, but I definitely was having a good time just checking out a snail. And as far as shrimp go, you guys know I can stare at shrimp all day long. You guys have seen me hitting the little heart button on here. It's how I keep track. This is how I keep track of the community posts as we go along. And I hit that little heart button on there so I can keep track, because I don't think I could comment on them. But Joe Andrioli sent this in. Hey, Oceaneers, which is you guys watching the show. Here's a webinar on Wednesday, February 27th, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that you may find interesting. The presentation entitled The Pacific Northwest as an Emerging Beachhead of Crayfish Invasions. We'll talk about the current state of knowledge on non-native crayfish distributions and impacts in the western United States, specifically highlighting the rusty crayfish in John Day River, out there in Oregon, down south of me. You can register to listen to the webinar below, and then here's a hot link right here. You can go check it out. I am really hoping that I'm able to jump in on this. I hope that I am able to catch this. So I highly recommend anybody popping in for these kinds of things. This is always a great thing and a great resource to everybody to check out and learn some stuff about crayfish that you might not know and how invasive they actually are out here. That's why a lot of crayfish are illegal where I'm at. That's why I don't keep any anymore, because I don't want to accidentally have the wrong ones. And that's just kind of the reality of the environment here. The environment here is really closely suited to a lot of crayfish, and if you have a new type come in, it's really easy for them to kind of take over and get rid of the native crayfish, which, I get it. People accidentally flush their crayfish down the toilet, or I'm not sure what they do, but somehow they get out. So a lot of them are illegal in my state, so I can't what's the word? I can't have them because it would be illegal. It would be bad. We all have those environmental concerns, and we should definitely check in on that. Jessica Thiergartner, who's brand new to the Patreon as of I think Monday, something like that, says, "What kind of crypt is this? Petco wasn't helpful. Thank you." Alyssa said Crypt Parva, I think, and I would say probably not. It looks like Cryptocorini lucens would be probably what it is to me. Crypt Parva is much smaller than that, unless this is a tiny tank. But I'm guessing from right here, there's a little molly swimming around. It's either Crypt lucens or Crypt Lutea, is what I think it would be. One or the other. Lucens or Lutea. I'll put that in the chat. It's what they look like. I do know that Petco carries lucens or Lutea from time to time, so piece the two together, they look very similar, and but we'll see as they grow in. It's kind of difficult to really ID plants from like Petco or PetSmart or those kinds of places because, most people aren't around the immersed grown version of these plants, and that's pretty much what you get at Petco, PetSmart, and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons that I always kind of recommend people to over to the Aquarium Co-op and things like that because, the Aquarium Co-op, they'll definitely ID the stuff. They'll convert it underwater so you have a good idea that, the plant that you get is going to work well. And, it's really going to adapt and go into your tank, and it's going to continue to grow the way that it's looking at the time that you get it, as opposed to a lot of plants that you get from Petco, PetSmart, and stuff like that. They've been grown up in the air and not underwater yet, and it's a little bit problematic because sometimes they don't come back from the quick conversion that we put them in. It's definitely not uncommon. It's definitely not super common, but it is kind of a rolling the dice type of situation, but I would say Lutea or lucens. Hex Tank apologist throwing down. Fact: members only jackets are the only jackets I wear. I have owned them since 1985. They are superior to all other jackets in the same way Hex Tanks are superior to all other tanks. That is all. I do love Hex Tank apologists coming through with the legit Dwight Schrute references and stuff. I do definitely appreciate it. And I do notice that this is an Aquarium Co-op shirt underneath. So that's legit. I can get behind you on that. I can get behind that. Speaking of Aquarium Co-op shirts, have you ever seen one of the red Aquarium Co-op shirts? You ever seen one of those? The only way that you can get those is to actually go and get them from an event. It has to be at a live event where Kobe is at. Kohlrabi. Wherever Kohlrabi is at, you have to go to the event and get it, and they are free. So that is definitely the upside. Now, how could you do that tomorrow? Tomorrow is Reefworks. I will be at that event. Corey will be at that event. I think Randy will be there. I think Dean will be. I'm not sure everybody who's going to be there, so I feel like, I don't know. I would assume that Jimmy will be there. I know Dean posted on something that he's really going to try to go. Bentley Pascal is going to go. There's going to be a lot of cool people out there at the Reefworks. It'll be a lot of fun. So Reefworks is a primarily saltwater event, but there's been freshwater stuff there in the past. Like Dustin's Fish Tanks hosted a aquascaping contest there last year. So I just have no idea what to expect. Like what am I expecting as far as what's going to be there? I'm not 100% sure, but I will say there are probably a couple of people there that I definitely want to talk to as far as like Apex controllers. Not sure who else is going to be there, but there definitely are some cool people that will be there to talk to. So I'll be there mainly just saying hi to fans and stuff. That's the main reason I'm going, and maybe I'll get a red Aquarium Co-op shirt while I'm there. Candy Overhaul says Jimmy is in Pennsylvania for his birthday. Oh. Yeah, like I said, I don't know who everybody's going to be there, but I think Randy will be there. Corey is going to be... Randy's going to be there. Corey's going to be there. I think Dean said he was going to be there. Bentley Pascal is going to be there. I'm going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people, so I think we all can look forward to that. I think it sounds like fun. But yeah, the members only jacket, they're at least superior in price. I do know that because we looked those up the other day during the show, and we had ourselves a little revelation of just how expensive the members only jacket is. John Gonzalez sent in, early in the week we were talking about genetics and line breeding. This is a Neocaridina shrimp that is the result in many different colors of shrimp in one tank over a year. Unfortunately, I don't know what combination it took to get this color variation. It's also it's the only one in the tank that it looks like. Sorry about the picture quality. Yeah, I mean, I will say from a lot of experience with shrimp, especially Neocaridinas and stuff like that, you're getting this shrimp right here is getting close to the wild variation is basically what you're getting here. You're getting a big mixture of genetics that aesthetically aren't great for the coloration that you're looking for, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because this shrimp looks like it has some really in it too also or something. I'm not 100%, but you are definitely getting close to the wild coloration here. The little spots and the brown definitely is a lot closer to the wild variation, which the wild coloration is much better for them to survive and not be to not be eaten. Essentially, it's a much better camouflage than the the typical reds and stuff that we see. But yeah, it definitely is. This is essentially where you'll end up if you mix like blue and red and yellow and orange and all that kind of stuff. If you mix them all together, this is eventually what you kind of end up with, is these guys. Sorry, my phone went off. I don't know. Oh, anybody that's posting to the Patreon page today, from here on out, be aware and don't be offended that you're not going to make it on the show. It's just I can't reload this page and have not moderated anything that that could possibly be going up. It's been very rare that anybody has posted anything inappropriate, but it has happened. So, I have to review it before we put it onto the old YouTube, you know what I mean? Sander Grindy. I don't know how to say your name. Grind? Hopefully it's Grind. But Sander Grind, who's one of our patronizers, has sent in the finally got around to repair my aquarium after my cats broke one side of a 60-liter, which is 16 gallons, aquarium. Installed an internal sump filter made of glass and 3D printed overflow at the same time as I fixed the broken glass. Temporary stocking is 3 guppies. Needs stocking suggestion. On a 16-gallon tank like this, I by the way, I love to see the 3D printed overflow and this filter is cool, man. It's like glass built in there. It's really cool to check that out, and I like the split substrate. That is cool. I like the 2 colors of the substrate. I would definitely add some taller plants back here as far as stocking goes for that. A 16-gallon aquarium like this, I would just continue with the guppies personally. That's what I would do. Guppies, probably like a ram's horn snail, something cool like that. Like maybe you could find some of those purple ram's horns. Those are cool. Those are super cool. And I certainly would, but I certainly would just I would continue on with the guppies. That's what I would do for sure. Hey, big shout out to Smeel Kapoor coming in as a new member on the show. We got a bunch of new members today. Thanks, guys. We appreciate that. Like I said, somebody asked, how many members do we have to get to let Google know it's for real? And I told them, I said 10%. And I don't think that we'll ever hit that 10% mark. But honestly, if we did, I would probably freak out if we hit that. If we hit 10%, that's like 20. That's like 20. What? That's like 2,000 members, which would be pretty wild. I think we're at 44, which is awesome. It's awesome to be at 44, but I don't know what we would do if we hit that 10%. I'd probably freak out and buy a camera or something. I'm just being honest. That's probably what I would do. Alyssa sent in, if you guys, it seems like a lot of people missed Wednesday's show. Alyssa Bentley was the guest co-host of the day on Wednesday. And I did mention on Wednesday's show, my plan is to continue to expand this and have guests on and, more people. And, I mean, that's my long-term plan. And I guess, people joining up and people patronizing, I guess, is the biggest. It's how that's going to happen. Because I can't, count on ads because that just doesn't work. It just doesn't. She says, to follow up on the question about ancestral species Cheese Creek, here's a photo of one of mine. He's still only about an inch, so he'll need to grow more, and when he does, he should be a little thinner looking than your standard brown bristlenose. Really cool. I had completely forgotten about the Cheese Creek plecos until Alyssa was here talking about them. Because I remember hearing about them from like Dean and somebody else. I didn't realize at the time I think I was just, I mean I like plecos and I think they're great and everything. I'm not a huge crazy pleco guy, but I like them. There's definitely some varieties I like a lot more than some other ones, but as you guys know, I've had clown plecos and bristlenose and some other stuff, but maybe someday I'll get some fancy L numbers. But in the meantime, I like enjoying your guys' plecos, and I don't know that I'm ever going to have any of those like $400 or $500 plecos because I don't think I can handle that kind of stress. I got the puffers, and they're stressful. I just want to make sure that they're happy. I hand feed them now. Snails. I can't hand feed them shrimps because they get away. The shrimps get away, but they definitely are eating shrimp. I know that. Big Bill sent this in, and mad props, man. This is a pretty dope setup, and I'm kind of envious. Says some CO2 for the 125 was in order. Went with the Greenleaf Aquarium setup. Seemed to be a really nice quality. Link if anyone is CO2 shopping. I like those the GLA systems ones. It's one of the few that I've only messed with and never owned. I would love to own one at some point in time, but GLA was like, I think last time I talked to them, they were like, nah, we don't want anybody to like test them out. Just buy it. And I think like they're really nice models, like $500 or something. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm saving for a camera, you jerks. Preston sent in. Ooh, check this out. Preston John sent this in. I just ordered me up some Ludwigia sedioides. For the puffer ponds. I think it will make a fun addition. Photo as example. Mine will look better because it will have puffers all around it. I like that. This is a really cool plant, and I'm excited to see how this comes out. I'm excited to see. And it is a really cool plant. So there's multiple reasons why I'm excited to see it. Also, it's not like my puffers eat any of the plants or anything like that, but it is nice to start to figure out more of the possible companion plants that would probably do well with puffers, and Preston would definitely be the guy that could hammer out some of that, figuring it out, just how beneficial it is or isn't. Jay Swift of Swift Aquarium sent this in earlier. Says, scenario. I was eating breakfast across from my wife while she was reviewing for her day. I'm groggy and I haven't had my Fruit Loops when I notice she's studying a diagram of a shrimp's tail very closely. I exclaim, shrimp! She gives me a look like you give somebody when they pour salt in their coffee and says, peony. Sigh. Oh, I'm supposed to, alas. The diagram is of a horse's tail and not a shrimp's. Surprise us, lady. Scrimp. That is pretty wild, actually. Yeah, that definitely does look like a shrimp's tail, except for this giant vertebrae running down here. You guys know that shrimps are invertebrates, hence no vertebrae. Invertebrates, No vertebrae, right? Right. Oh, Johan's always sending us in awesome fish of the week, and mad props for this fish right here. The Hemiraramphon. I've never known how to say this at all. I'm not even going to try. These are the 3-spot forest half-beaks, are live bearers that range from slightly brackish water to freshwater hill streams of Sarawak. Surface fishes, they adapt readily to micropellet food but enjoy small live insects, which they will definitely go for insects for sure. There's like no question about it. That's their primary food source, and they will definitely do a little bit of hunting. If you've got some insects for them, they will definitely go for it. They're able to adapt to a wide range of water conditions, but proper acclimatizing, right? I almost said that wrong, is nevertheless required. pH range from 5.5 to 7.5, soft to medium KH in temperature. Right in the medium at around 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So, yeah, these are really cool. The 3-spot forest half-beaks, these are cool. I have never been able to own these myself. I wish that someday I have a really cool big tank and I could have a ton of these in there. A really cool big tank with some kind of upper area. I've had archerfish, or I had archerfish a long time ago for a short amount of time, maybe like a year, something like that. Maybe 6 months. I don't know. It just became difficult with my tank setups to actually keep the archerfish and keep them happy. Maybe someday I'll be able to do like a paludarium again, or maybe something along those lines that they can shoot bugs down and shoot food down from the up above area. But currently I just don't have a setup that would house them, but very cool fish. Grassy Peak sent this in today, actually, right around noon. Checking in with some Joel-inspired shrimp art. Still working on the background, but almost there. From Chris. Cheers. Anybody sending in paintings is always much appreciated. I definitely appreciate it. People sending in pictures of their paintings and their artwork and stuff. Much appreciated. I like this. And this is actually pretty cool, and I like it. And you're still working on the background. I get it. That almost always feels that way for every painting for me. How about this painting back here that I haven't worked on in months? It's starting to drive me nuts. I haven't painted in that much in a while. I haven't really been doing much. I've been sketching and things, but just kind of working on some ideas. It's Nature Man sent this in. Valsnaria is wearing me out. Time for an overhaul. Don't feel bad about this because I end up feeling the exact same way about Valsnaria probably 20 different times in my life, which is why I just don't even keep it anymore. And I've gone away and back to Valsnaria so many times, I just don't think I'll ever go back. Like, I've learned my lesson so many times, it's like, nah, I'm good. Every time I think I'm like, yeah, I'm a baller, I'm going to make this, and I'm going to wrangle it in, and I'm going to keep it totally exactly where I want it to be, and blah, 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 and that kind of stuff, and then I don't. So, and then I end up getting totally worn out from having to deal with it, and then I end up getting rid of it. So, same, I get it. Grassy Peak sent this in. Nice. Out of the darkest Africa, one of my Congo Tetra breeders. These guys are sweethearts, but their fry are like little piranhas. I have at half an inch. They're absolute little monsters. Hope they grow out of it quickly. Cheers, Chris. I like this. That is a beautiful shot of a beautiful Congo Tetra. I love Congo Tetras. They're Congo Tetras. Congo Tetras. One of my favorite, like, big, cool, I wouldn't call them big. I mean, they're sizable, but really cool schooling fish. A tank with a ton of these in them it's just amazing. I think, like, Ocean's Aquariums was the last one I saw in San Francisco, I think, was the last tank I saw with just a ton of these in them, and it was really cool. Someday, you guys, and redline sharks. Someday. But, let's see. Grassy Peak says the albino version is not so sweet. Does not look as healthy as the standard version. And we get up here to the top. You can see There's a Become a Patreon patron button. So, just so you guys know, it's right up here. It's the orange one. That's the thing that you could do. Or you could do a cool thing like Al Janeco did. Became a new member right here. And now you got custom emojis and all that kind of jazz. I think we have to get over the 100 mark before the next thing kicks in. 100 members, I think, before the next level of things happens. Not 100% what they are, but you know how it is. Preston writes in, if anyone asks, the video conference with me, my live stream is a video conference blocked out on a schedule for the day. I like how any work-related people or whatever just be like, oh, we got a video conference with this Joel character. Okay, we got that time blocked out. That's pretty important. He's got a video conference, got a thing you got to do. And, hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do and just block out the time. There's a lot of people that have mentioned to me that, hey, the notifications don't work and this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not in charge of that. I'm just here. You know what I mean? Oh, I'll bring your guys' live chat in here real quick. And we got to turn on. Where's the... Oh. Anybody notice this little character right here in the chat? See that arrow? That's a Caleb. What's up, Caleb? A lot of people saying hi to Caleb. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to give you the big yellow arrow. What's up, my guy? Good to see you. I'm hoping to see Caleb this summer. I'm thinking that's what that's one of the things I'm trying to do this summer. I try to go out to Montana and try and see Caleb and Candy, and I forget Candy's husband's name. I forget. It's not on purpose. But to go out and and visit and see some things and see what we can get up to. Good to see you, Caleb. He's got them surprises. He's got some surprises, Caleb style. But it's good to see you. Thanks for coming out. And like I said, I hope to see you soon. All right, let me rescale the chat over here and see what kind of questions we got here. Mellow Moogle says it's pro strategy right there. Unsure what you're talking about. Let me go back over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 new members today on a Friday. We don't have a ton of people around. But 5 new members. It must be Friday. People getting excited. Oh, Candy's got it right there. Stacy. That's always forget. I always forget his name is Stacy. That's right. Barbara Jackson is here. What's up, Barbara? How's the fish room coming along? I know that you were emailing me about needing some help with it a while ago, and I thought I responded, but was remembering the other day. I was like, maybe I didn't. I know people send me a lot of emails and stuff like that, and oftentimes I get them when I'm like out in the field or something. I'm like doing something, and I don't have a chance to reply to it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I looked at that, and then maybe I forgot to reply. That does happen from time to time. So if you've sent me an email and I haven't gotten back to you, it's most likely not a personal thing, except for one person. There's only one person out there that is a personal thing. I don't reply to it. But what's the word I'm looking for there? But yeah, if you'd sent me an email, maybe resend it, because sometimes it just happens. Like, sometimes it just happens. I just forget to reply. And like I read it, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'll get back to that. And then I forget. It happens. Excuse me. I don't know, my throat's feeling a little weird. Vicky and Olivia were sick this week. Olivia was not feeling well this week. She got a little bit sick, and was definitely not feeling well. Let's see here. I'm going to try to roll through the chat and see if we got... let me see if we got some questions here to try and catch up on. I know people were asking questions while I was addressing the Patreon part. Ginger Graves was on vacation from Sunday to Thursday. Have you ever smelled dead mystery snail water? Ew. Yes. There probably isn't anything that smells worse than dead snails. It's unbelievably bad. Adrian Castillo says, "Oh man, I just posted a picture of my tank." Don't worry about it. If you guys posted a thing, it will be on next Friday's show. So don't worry about that. If you post it onto Patreon like during today's stream, I have to review it before I do it. But if you posted it today, it probably means you'll be like the first one up next week, right? Alvin Alejo with a $5 super chat says, "I'm in the hunt for another Achilles tang. My first one didn't make it. Hopefully my wife doesn't kill me when she finds out I got another one." Ooh, good luck. Not only are those pretty expensive, a little fragile and hard to deal with. Who would be the guy? Who would be the guy to bug? Fish Tank Barn might be the guy to bother on that one. But they're a super hard fish to take care of. I do know from I don't know, many years ago, we were always having problems taking care of them, having to quarantine them and move them around, and we had to put them in some big old tanks. Gutsy says, "Dude, that's messed up, actually. I'm not sure. Sorry for the embarrassment that would have caused. I feel for you." Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that was. Oh, Big D Smoke had a $354 fraudulent charge on my debit card, so I had to cancel it and order a new one. Yeah, I am in a similar predicament right now. No one fraudulently charged on my debit card, but they never sent the new debit card. So one of mine expired the other day. So I got a call from my insurance company. It's like, "Do you not want to have car insurance anymore?" Basically, I'm paraphrasing. And I was like, "No, I would like to have car insurance." They're like, "Oh, well, we need to get a different payment. We need to get this payment thing figured out." And I'm like, "Oh, what happened?" And they're like, "I don't know. You didn't pay. So what's up?" Kind of deal. So I thought it was pretty interesting. And I was like, "Oh." And I went to pull out my credit card or pull out my debit card, and I was like, "Oh, that must be why, because it's expired." Barbara Jackson says, "You did respond, and we talked. Olivia got born, and we had a delay. No worries. We'll get back to it in a couple of weeks. We're remodeling the kitchen at the same time." Oh, yeah. The kitchen is probably the primary thing that you should be getting done remodeling, man. If you don't have a functioning kitchen, that is way more priority than maybe the fish room being an extra week out or something like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Let's see here. Stephen Pope says that's the worst time to find out, aside from at a restaurant. Well, luckily my insurance wasn't canceled. I didn't experience any lapse in my auto insurance or anything. But they did call and let me know that they were like, "Hey, the charge didn't go through. What's going on here? Did you leave?" All right. Be running this tank on a matte filler, cancer with a spray bar. I forgot something cool was happening at 4 o'clock today, and I think a bunch of people left because of something cool was happening. Yep. The high water mark today was only 117. Well, pretty low for a Friday, but let's see. Gutsy says, "Hey, would you recommend a cap for the stratum? Toss up between ADA soil and sand combo or the fluval." I would not recommend a cap for stratum. No, stratum should be a top layer. But if you can mix in a bag of the ADA aqua soil, that definitely, I have found that combination to be pretty helpful with the tube. So some Fluval Stratum and the ADA mixed together is a pretty decent combination. I like to typically add some EcoComplete in with either some EcoComplete or some Fluval, some Fluorite with that, with the Fluval Stratum. So, you know. Bro, what's cooler than here? Nothing I can think of. An icebox. Full Moon Aquatics says I paid a bunch of road toll charges because I forgot to give them my new card. Ooh, that sucks. I had some old parking tickets a long time ago that had somehow just floated off into the madness, because I used to get a parking ticket like where I worked near where Amazon headquarters is now, Amazon HQ. I used to work down there. And I probably got between 5 parking tickets a week, sometimes as many as 8. And I will tell you, I don't really have any issues with people that do that meter maid job, but that specific meter maid down there, I had a bit of a problem with her because she would literally stand next to my truck and watch her clock tick down and give me a parking ticket 1 minute or 30 seconds after it would run out. And I was like, this is a mess. You know what I mean? It's one thing to mark the tires and do all that kind of stuff, but literally just standing there, you don't have anything else to do except stand here and watch your clock and wait for it to go down. That was rough. And I think that year I had something crazy I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of parking tickets. It was out of control. I was running a restaurant down there, and as you guys know, you run in a big restaurant, going out to move your car every couple of hours doesn't really work out all that well. But that was the only parking that was down there. I couldn't buy a spot in a parking garage. They were all gone. There was no reserve parking, anything like that. It was all 2-hour metered parking. And it was kind of interesting. But regardless, the only reason I was telling you guys that story is because I had these 4 parking tickets that apparently didn't get paid. And like I said, I had so many parking tickets at that point in time. I thought I'd paid them all. But 3 years went by. And they were like, we're sending you to collections. But then I was like, but they're parking tickets. You can't. And they were like, you're right. We're not. But they're 3 times the cost now. And I was like, man, lame. So it was something goofy, $400 or something I had to give them. It was dumb. Jackson K says, if I'm running some crushed coral in the filter, can I keep water hard enough for live bearers when I'm using stratum something else combo? Yeah, but I would. Yeah. Yes. It generally is enough to put enough minerals and stuff and boost everything up. You might have to add some more than normal, but you definitely can. I've buffered the water up using crushed coral in pantyhose, and added that in, and it definitely worked. Definitely worked to bring it up to keep the guppies healthy. They need a lot of extra minerals in the water and stuff in order for them to stay healthy. My water out here, the pH is too low. There ain't nothing in it, and it is pretty difficult for the guppies to make their way. But add a little crushed coral, some tannin stuff. You basically want to add stuff to your water column. It helps them guppies do better. Lexi V is just sliding in the door. I'm glad you made it in. Thanks for showing up. I have a meter patrol person by me too. Yeah, I know that feeling. It's a very frustrating feeling, that's for sure. I know that it's people doing their job, but they're just Sometimes it's like, stop writing me these tickets. I don't know. I went out and tried to talk to her one day, and it did not go well either. Probably because everybody yells at her. I would expect. It just happened to be a lady, but it was just a little bit weird. Candy overhauls with the jokes. Crushed coral in your pantyhose? Rough. It would be rough. Pantyhose are the best filter media bags ever. I don't know that they're the best ever. I like the filter media bags with the zipper on them. Those ones are actually a lot better. Ollie H's here has an empty 100-liter tank and was thinking of trying a green spotted puffer. Any advice for a first-time brackish setup? Have a ton of Java fern. Yeah. Green spot puffers, man, you got to be really committed to them. You have got to be really committed to the green spot puffer. They're a great fish. They have some good personality. I would get more than one, though, in my experience. Just having one is not great. So I would consider your facilities and whether or not just one's going to work for you. Swift Aquarium says, just need one of those Teslas that can drive itself home, and it needs it to pick them up. Yeah. I can't wait for automated self-driving cars, man. I cannot wait for that. Big D Smoke says, my pH out of the tap is actually 8.2, and I'm in Tacoma. Gotta be because of snow melt or something. No. Put your water in a bucket and let it sit overnight, then test the pH and let me know what it is. 99 times out of 100 in the United States, when your pH jumps way up over the 8s and it's normally lower, it's because they're adding chloramines. So remember to add your dechlorinator in if you're doing any water changes, but just remind people to always just do that anyhow. I use the powdered form, Seachem Safe. That's the one that I use. It seems to be the easiest one. Bob Kaler just acclimated 2 green spotteds into my marine tank, which is nice. It's one of the cool things about green spot puffers. Once they get to adult size, you got to acclimate them up to full salt. So, like I said, you got to make a commitment. You got to be committed to be doing that fish. It's just not one that you just kind of, I'm not to say that there's anything less or more with guppies or anything like that, but you don't really have to take in the crazy consideration of what needs to be done, with just getting some guppies and running a guppy tank. But the green spotteds, you really got to consider how long you're going to be able to actually actively take care of them. Carly Stocky's asking, are crypts and goldfish a good idea? In my experience, the cryptocrine have been pretty okay with goldfish. Like goldfish, I don't think they really enjoy the taste of them. It's most of the lightly green colored stuff that they're into. So deep green colored stuff and those kinds of things, they don't have a tendency to eat all those up. But Melamugo has a great point with be prepared for your goldfish to eat just about any plant you put in the tank. That's true. They'll try them out. But in my experience, they haven't been too lustful for the old cryptocrine, but you never really know. Some of them will just eat just about anything, I guess. HDJC says, I'll get a self-driving car when I'm not the one who's liable for the accidents, no insurance bill or otherwise. Okay. I guess you could stay home or something. I don't know. I have home insurance. we have homeowners insurance, and I've had renters insurance and stuff like that. I mean, maybe you're less liable or something. I don't know. I don't know how that insurance would work, honestly, but I have homeowners insurance in case a airplane crashes into my house or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's a lot of people that are skeptical about the self-driving cars and stuff like that, but that technology will be on the roads very soon. And one of the interesting things about it is that Joe Rogan had a prospective presidential presidential candidate. I don't know really how any of that works at this point. If like how you could be a candidate running for president, like I don't know, this early. But regardless, he had a guy on there who is pretty intellectual as far as the automated self-driving cars thing goes. And one of the interesting things that he was talking about, the trucking is going to go automated. So semis and stuff like that, driving on the highways, that's going to go automated. And he had a really good statistic that is like $186 billion a year is how much the trucking companies will save. So that technology is coming whether we like it or not. And so I would get ready for it. Bug Gus is asking, have you tried growing any types of Pogostemon emergent? Yes. Pogostemon stellatus octopus is awesome. I think Jimmy was over here a while ago, and he took a picture of the flowers. They are really cool looking, and they're purple, and they're awesome. Yeah. Pogostemon stellatus octopus grows above water. Awesome. And it is a really good alternative if you don't want to do, like, pothos. Like, if you didn't want to do pothos, that one's a great plant to do that way. You basically just hang the roots into the water and let it just go buck wild. T-Frakes Tank says, yeah, I saw that Mr. Yang was on JRE. Yeah, and that guy that's a big part of what he knows about. Andrew Yang, I think that's his name. That's a big part of what he's all about. And, he's a lot of people there's a lot of conversations about the economy and stuff like that, but I don't see a lot of portions of our government really even taking into consideration where our economy is going. Like, there's been a lot of talk about the farmers and stuff like that, but, the farmers are almost all automated now, So it's stuff like that where it's like, corn and wheat and all that kind of stuff. It's all automated. The self-driving combines that that cut all that stuff down and harvest it. Swift Aquariums drove from Tacoma to Vancouver without using the pedals or the steering wheel. As far as I can tell, they're self-driving already. Just going to get better. Yeah, that's honestly the thing. Yep. Ollie H says, trust more computers than I trust most drivers. Well, one of the big things that's going to happen with the automated cars and the self-driving cars and stuff like that is the communication between all of the cars on the road. That is the thing that's going to become quite interesting because all of the cars, once they're able to communicate and move around accidents and get out of the way for emergency vehicles, slow down ahead of time so that people don't have to stop, so that the freeway doesn't just stop 100%, right? So if the car's all communicating with each other, or at least with the highway system, or however they're going to be communicating, let's say there's an accident 2 miles ahead of you, right? Instead of having those waves of people slowing down and eventually what leads to a traffic jam of cars completely stopped, all those cars would be communicating, hey, everybody slow down at the same time to 30 miles an hour, move over to the right-hand side because there's an accident up here in preparation for going up and moving around that accident and continuing going on, right? Not to mention, how many times have you guys seen police car chases on, in like LA or whatever, that kind of stuff? That's one thing that I thought was really crazy, like police enforcement. Like, let's say somebody had their own car and they're driving. All the other cars could box them in, right? And slowly force them to slow down and make them stop, right? So stuff like that I find to be one of the biggest things. Carly Stocky says if the truckers lose their jobs, then so will the meth dealers. Well, the meth dealers these days are all pretty much corporate entities, so we don't have to worry about the small businesses that may lose their stuff. You lose their gig, their job. I don't know. So we don't have to worry about that. But Big D Smoke says the truckers who will be out of luck. Yeah, that's kind of what it is, and it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. There's millions of people that do that, and it's going to be a big deal. So we should really start considering what we're going to be doing. Gutsy says it will eliminate ghost braking, building up traffic. Definitely. Yep, it's a big deal. Also, not to mention that, the ability to be able to, unoccupy a shoulder of the road or split into more lanes so more traffic could go around slowly, that kind of stuff. It's very interesting what they'd be coming up with the automated self-driving cars. And also they won't be spending $53 billion here to build a train that goes 20 miles. They want $50 billion to build a train that goes maybe 30 miles. A 30-mile train that goes from Tacoma to Seattle. $50 billion. That's like what Amazon is worth. And they want that much money to build a train that goes 30 miles. My $2,000 car could just drive there right now. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Says, thank you, Joel, for understanding traffic, and you're not even from California. I study a few things. I'm not the dumbest guy in the world. I'm not the smartest guy in the world either, but I've studied a few things. Ollie H says, I work at the side of the motorway in the UK. And truckers have given me a few brown trouser moments. Well, that's just why I wear brown pants these days. You know what I'm saying? That's just the smart move. I'm prepared. Whispering Water says, hopefully legalized pot will hurt the meth dealers more. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't even require the little winky eye emoji. I think we're finding out that to be 100% accurate. As you guys know, I've been sober for 1,726 days. I think that's right. I'm a sober guy, so I don't necessarily endorse people using or not using or doing any drugs or drinking or any of that kind of stuff. As an addict in recovery, I wouldn't recommend anybody to get into that stuff, but it's also not my place to necessarily say what you should do or shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? But, yes, the legalization is imminent and a very much more intelligent situation than how we have in the past. The war on drugs doesn't work. The nonsense out there that has been going on for years and years does not work. It just doesn't work. Starting wars doesn't work. Prohibiting things doesn't work. We tried prohibition with alcohol in the 20s. It didn't work then. It doesn't work now with the other stuff. So, I think we probably go with something like the Portugal system. Some of the European systems out there where it's just like legalize it, get these people treated, and let's move on. Let's make tax dollars off of it so that we can use the tax dollars to fix the people. You know what I mean? Because the people are the important part. But sounds like Washington is going the way of Jerry Moonbeam Brown's mythical L.A. to San Francisco bullet train I happen to be paying for. I believe that bullet train is still going to happen. It's just going to look a little bit different than people thought. People thought it was going to be. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a tunnel, but who knows? I think that's definitely going through. I think it's ultimately going to be above ground. I think they're finding that the newest, the bullet train, they're actually going to do the tunnel above ground, which seems like an existing technology mixing with really some future technology. So that seems like a smarter move to me than some of that other stuff. And Skog's Shrimpery, and more with a $17.26 super chat. Thanks, my man. I appreciate it. My brother. Thank you very much. That's like 1 penny for every day I've been sober. Man, if everybody just gave me 1 penny for every day I've been sober, I'd buy a new camera. Hey, look, it's jokes, man. Lexi V, I wanted an elevated trains in my city, so when nature decides to snowpocalypse 2 weeks in a row, I can just ride it to work. No sliding around town. Well, Lexi, one of the interesting things about automated cars and stuff like that Guess what else would be automated? The plows. Clearing snow, clearing roads, reporting on the roads, all that kind of stuff would definitely, the road conditions and all that things would be being reported by the automated cars. The cars would be able to travel around at a reasonable speed and travel around and know what everybody else is doing and stuff like that. Know if there's a big ice patch coming up or not, or this kind of stuff. So, that's the thing. And the plows could basically run nonstop and know where they need to be. That's one of the biggest issues that snowplows have, is that they don't know which road they need to be on at what time necessarily. Yes, they have a map of where they're supposed to be going and that kind of stuff, but they don't have anything that's like regularly updating that, like, oh man, 185th over there is real bad right now. Like, they waiting for somebody to call in basically and be like, to update that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, the plows would always be able to run. Do 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 do. Ooh 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 do 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 do. Jackson says the trains aren't worth it, at least not the Long Island Railroad, whose parent entity is almost $1 billion in debt and has things constantly breaking and causing delays. Yeah, I just don't think that really works. Terry's Tropical Tank says, how's River Life doing? And Joel says, what happened to River Life? I don't know. Is something wrong with Rack? Is Rack okay? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. So, I don't know. What happened? Biggest upside to automated cars is no drinking and driving. Well, that's not necessarily the biggest upside. The biggest upside would be no fatal accidents because of drunk drivers. I think that would be the biggest upside. Oh, okay. Terry says nothing new. I was just wondering. Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't heard from Rack in a while. I was in his Facebook group. I was in his Facebook group, which his Facebook group is for, creators to help out other creators. And I ended up leaving because to be brutally honest, like with anybody and everybody out there, like, it's real easy for me to, like, I want to help people out. I love helping people out. And I did invest a little bit of my time and stuff in, like, helping people out there. I had to bow out because, you know what? It's like the small group of people that are, like, bringing the negativity. It's like, okay, see you later. So I ended up leaving. So I haven't really been up on the times of what's going on over there. I basically was trying to help out, and sometimes there's a small group of people that make it kind of impossible, and I'm certainly not the person to be like, hey, kick somebody else out because I don't like how they're acting. So I kicked myself out. I left. So, Niz the One says, scares me because technology can be hacked for evil. Yeah, crappy technology can be hacked for evil. Good technology can't really be hacked, So, I mean, we're completely surrounded by technology. We're the electricity, the power grid, plumbing, fresh water, the internet, cell phones. I mean, we're completely surrounded by stuff. All of our banking stuff is online, and yeah, sometimes things happen. There are going to be accidents. There probably are some bad guys and stuff like that, but, there are precautions and things that can be put into place, and certain things are secure and whatnot, and, Oh, Candy's got to get food in the oven. Oh, I'm just realizing what time it is. We're like we're an hour and a half in, so we got to get rocking and rolling. All right, I want to say a big shout out and thank you to all of our brand new members today. Mick Irving, It's Nature Man, Terry's Tropical Tanks, Fish Girl from Connecticut, Smeel Kapoor, Al Janeko, Gutsy, all brand new members today. Thank you very much. I have to pop over here. Oh lordy, we got two new patronizers today: Adrian Castillo and Mike Bass, or Bass, not sure. Not sure. Bass or bass? Well, one or the other. 2 brand new patronizers today. Thank you very much, you guys. Like, as I have mentioned in the past, it's really the only reason we're able to try and keep this dream alive and keep moving forward. You know, and yeah, it's because of you guys. It's just really what it boils down to. It's like this small, like I was talking about. There could either be a small group of positivity or a small group of negativity, and here it happens to be a small group of positivity. You know what I mean? If we got, and that's just reality. That if there's 20,000, if there's 23 something thousand, whatever subscribers to the channel, and we have 200 and let me update it here. We have 293 Patreons on Patreon patrons. And you know, like 40 or 50 members, you guys can see that is a small group of, what is this? That's a small group of positivity out of the larger group, and it can really go either way. And I want to just say thanks to you guys, because it's the small group of the Oceaneers, the people that are really dedicated to keeping this rolling and stuff, and I'm eternally grateful. I really am. And I want to say a thank you to Rumbust and the Fish Tank Barn, Alvin Alejo, and Steven Skoglund, the Skogs Shrimpery, and more for you guys super chats today. I really do appreciate it. And if you are watching this later, feel free to join, hit that join button or whatever. And I'm gonna go ahead and talk to y'all on the late road.